Well, it's been a bit since I did a video, so I wanted to put one together really quickly to show you a couple of smaller projects that I did recently, and also just give you a quick general update as well. Alright, so like a lot of people, I've been playing my Nintendo Switch a ton over the last couple of months. Honestly, mostly Animal Crossing, and I often play it in bed right before I go to sleep, and I always have to fumble with the charging cable to plug it in to charge for the night. So I thought it would be great if it had wireless charging and I could just drop it on a charging pad like I do my phone. So I looked on Amazon, and sure enough, for really cheap, you can get a wireless charging receiver with a micro USB or USB Type-C or even Lightning connector on the end of it. I got one of those and tried it out, and just as I'd hoped, it charges it. It's not nearly as fast as charging it through a charger that has USB power delivery, but it still gets 5 volts and charges it fast enough. So I cracked open Fusion 360 and I modeled sort of a backpack that snaps onto the back of the Switch Lite, holds all of that in place, and even though it adds a little bit of bulk, honestly, it's pretty seamless. I've been using it over the past few weeks. I haven't had any issues with it, but just a general disclaimer, if you decide to do this, do it at your own risk. I can't guarantee that it won't cause any issues with your Switch in the future. Now, I only modeled this for the Switch Lite because it seemed like people using the larger Switch would be using the official dock to charge it. But if you'd like to see a version of this made for the full-size Switch, let me know in the comments below. I actually thought about doing a quick video showing the process of designing parts around existing things like the Switch. As usual, I'll put the model up on Patreon for supporters to download and print out if they want to, and then up on Thingiverse for everyone else here in a bit. And if you don't have a 3D printer, then I'll have these available on my shop as well. Next up, like a lot of people, I have been working from home for the last few months, and I found myself wanting a monitor stand, specifically one that had a wireless charging pad in it so I could charge my phone while I worked. I almost ordered one from Amazon, but then I realized I can probably make this way cheaper. And sure enough, you can get these wireless charging pads for really cheap. They're made for do-it-yourself projects just like this. It's just got a micro USB port on the back of it that you plug in, and it works with your phone or whatever else that has wireless charging. So I got a board and I modeled a couple of end caps in Fusion 360. I printed the end caps in PLA and it works fine as long as you use enough perimeters. I think I used 4 or 5 on mine. But that charging pad gets pretty warm while you're using it, so I'm probably gonna go back and print it in PETG, and so that's what I would recommend using for it. The left side just slides on and screws into place, and then on the right side there's a compartment where this tray that holds the wireless charging pad slides into place, and then you can screw it all together. And if you want, you can even mirror the right-hand parts and print those out and use them on the left side as well, so that you have wireless charging pads in both sides. And then at the last minute, I decided to add a strip of LEDs on the bottom of mine as well to add some nice ambient lighting underneath it. One unfortunate thing that I did notice is the fact that there's 2 3D printed parts between the wireless charging pad and the receiver on the Switch Lite part that I made. It does work, but it has to be in just the right position to work. And I noticed that it gets quite a bit warmer than other things that I was charging. I'm assuming that's just because there's so much distance between it. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend using the Switch Lite charging backpack that I made with the monitor stand. Again, I'll have these parts up on Patreon for supporters to download and print out if they want to. And then I'll put them up on Thingiverse here in a bit as well. All right, so a couple of quick updates. Minty Pie Lite parts. Helder's been out of stock of his parts for a bit. Those should be back in stock next weekend. He actually ordered them a few weeks ago, but with everything going on right now, it takes quite a while to get stuff from China, which is where they're manufactured. But anyway, keep an eye on his Instagram and on his shop, and those should be in stock here soon. And of course, the 3D printed parts are always available on my shop. Helder also put up a video recently showing from start to finish the whole process of soldering the Raspberry Pi to the button PCB. It's a pretty long, in-depth video. He's got it on his YouTube channel, so definitely check it out if you've been having issues. I've covered that like 4 or 5 times at this point, but a lot of people still seem to have problems. So if that's you, then definitely check out that video. Funny enough, I've actually been planning on doing kind of a soldering basics 101 type video. So if you've got any specific questions that you'd like me to address in that, drop them in the comments below and keep an eye out for that video here in the next few weeks. All right, so the past couple of months for everybody has been pretty crazy. And I remember when all of this kind of kicked off back in February, I was actually thinking, well, fine, I'll sit at home, I'll work on my projects, I'll be able to get a bunch of videos done. No, that has not been the case for me. It's been really difficult for me to stay motivated, even just to stay positive mentally, and focus on projects like this that I otherwise enjoy. I don't say that to complain by any means, more just to tell you guys, where I've been, why you haven't been hearing from me very much. But the other reason that I mention it, I'm really curious to hear from other people who like to work on projects like you see on this channel. How have you been handling all this? Have you found that working on projects is a nice distraction, or has it been harder for you to stay motivated and stay focused on projects like it has me? Anyway, let me know in the comments below. I am genuinely curious to hear from you guys. As usual, a huge thank you to my Patreon supporters. I know that things are tight right now for a lot of people, and I would never presume to expect anything from anybody, but for those people who have been sending a few bucks each month, I really appreciate it, and thank you. If you made it this far, then thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.